Hey guys, it's me Dominique coming at you guys with a new video. Today's video is going to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 6 episode. I can't remember, it'll be up in the title. This review almost never happened. For one, I just ended up seeing the newest episode today, Monday, and I've been having major issues trying to set up and even get this video done, but here I am. So the first scene begins with Kenya and Marlo at Lawrence's salon. I just find it kind of funny that Kenya and Marlo kind of starting to look like besties and friends and whatever, but hey, whatever. And another thing I wanted to address in this scene is that I also find it kind of nerve-wracking that Kenya suggests that doing something nice will make her and Nene friends again, which slightly bothers me because I'm like, Kenya, why don't you just be a grown-up and call Nene, especially with this whole event going on and this fundraiser and it's supposed to be honoring her and all that. Why don't you just be an adult and call Nene versus, oh, well, I'm going to kill her with kindness and I'm going to throw this grand event just so I can dress up and have a party, but do it in the name of charity and Nene's charity so Nene can be my friend again instead of just addressing the issue head on. So the next scene is Kandi and her auditions, and then Portia comes into audition. So first off, I want to say that Portia looked laid. She looks snatched like she always does. Portia looks snatched. But I feel like Portia wasn't prepared because it was Kandi's play versus it being someone else's play. Now, one thing, I see that Kandi was the only person in the room that had high expectations for Portia. Because I'm not going to lie, I was on the board with Don Juan and everybody else thinking Portia was not going to do what she had to do. And Kandi just had too much expectations on her. But the acting part, of course, she needs to work on. But the singing, Portia shocked me because I didn't think Portia could actually even carry a note. For her to carry a note and sound the way she sounded, I'm not going to say she's like amazing, powerful voice, but Portia did really sound good. So she proved me and Don Juan. So the next scene is when they're holding the casting or whatever for the bachelors for the event. Again, we see Marlo. So Marlo and Cynthia are becoming new friends. Also, as we can see in the next episode, how they become so, like, they're becoming so close that that Kenya is calling Marlo to be a judge for her event, which would normally probably be something Nene would be doing, especially because it's supposed to be an event honoring Nene. Kenya, you should have called Nene. But they're in there and they're all chummy and it's like kind of freaking Cynthia out. Cynthia was like, hold up, what is all of this? They touching each other and licking their pet. And Marlo, I agree with you. Like, hold on first before I go to talk about King and leave out. I tried something new with my hair today. I'm not all the way sold on it. But anyway, Marlo, I agree with you. Kenya's leave out is always out of place. Like, for her to be going to Lawrence, she needs to be doing more on the at-home upkeep of it, because she always be like, oh, I always have these flyaways. No, you always have these flyaways. Your leave out is never blended. I know I'm not one to talk because I have my moments, but every time it's like unless Kenya has a ponytail, it's not an episode that doesn't go by where Kenya's leave out isn't blending. Portia gets the girls together at the roller derby. Of course, everybody didn't participate, which I'm kind of surprised that Kandi didn't participate, because usually that's Kandi's thing where she usually likes to participate in this type of stuff. So I'm kind of taken aback that Kandi isn't participating. But that scene goes on and Kenya has fun, all the other girls have fun. So then Kandi goes to announce the parts for her play. Of course, I don't care what nobody say. We all believe, well, I believe that Portia got that part because she's Kandi's friend and she can carry it too. And Kandi probably ain't really had nobody else like that to have the part. So I believe she kind of got the part because she's Kandi's friend and she kind of and Kandi kind of didn't have anybody else. Plus, she went to talk about Tony's this and no, Portia. First do a play that's not your friend's production, then you can talk about Tony's. Slow down, Portia. I mean, I'm all for your new optimism and your conquering attitude, but slow down on the Tony talk. And then Kenya is talking, saying that, oh, she would hope that she was hoping that Nene would have been there so she could talk to Nene and air things out and yada yada yada. Kenya in these forced situations are really irking me. I feel like, Kenya, you should force yourself to call Nene and be a grown up about the situation. Regardless of how Nene's gonna react, you can say you did your part. But for you to force doing a nice gesture for her charity, or to force or to hope that because the other girls are around, that she would come and she would be there, and then you can force yourself to talk to her, like, or like the force, even since we're talking about forcing at Cynthia's opening, like Kenya in these forced situations get on my nerves, especially with Nene. Just pick up the phone and call her. So the next thing we go into is Kandis, Todd, Carmen, and Mama Joyce. We see, unlike Kandi, I didn't think Mama Joyce was at peace with this situation. I knew some other stuff was about to come up, and lo and behold, some other stuff comes up. Because look what happens. This whole situation with this other girl, and then he say, she say, but the fact that Mama Joyce, and I'm only saying Mama Joyce out of respect, because I really want to say Joyce, but because she's Kandi's mom, I'm gonna keep saying Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce is right in the midst of this, and it's kind of nerve-wracking, the hostility she has towards Carmen and Todd, because I think besides her and Riley, she feels like they're the closest thing to her and Riley on the level of that level field, and she just is like taking advantage of that. So I feel some type of way about that. Goes into Cynthia and Nene talking. So Kenya emails everyone, and she also has spoken to Cynthia, and I'm sure she spoke, and she has spoken to the other girls because she spoke to them at the Rolling Over. So what's the difference of, what's the big deal if you speak to you've spoken to all the other girls in person, and you've spoken to Cynthia on a regular in person? So why would, or not even in person, why wouldn't you pick up the phone and call Nene, since this event is supposed to be honoring her and her charity? Like, for you to keep saying, oh, well, I emailed her, I contacted her. No, an email, a phone call, a text, totally different things. Like, don't sit here and say, oh, you make it seem like you did your part by emailing her, and that's all it took, especially if it's supposed to be an event for her and her charity. So, in that token, I mean, I have my moments where I agree with Nene and I don't agree with Nene. But in this situation, I totally agree with Nene. Because if it's really from the heart, and you genuinely doing it from the heart, and you'll pick up the phone and say, look, Nene, like Nene said, I know we're not on the best of terms, but I'm doing this event honoring Save Your Daughter's charity, and I would like if you would come out, because this is a charity that's close to your heart, and I want to host this event to raise money for it. I mean, whatever issues we got going on, yada, yada, yada. But no, you don't do that. You just have the event and hoping everything falls into place, and that's not how it works. So the next scene is Todd and Kandi. So when they brought that whole thing about Portia, it didn't make you think like, what request did Portia have like that? They was like, oh, Don Juan is not gonna like that. I'm interested to know. Then they bring Carmen out, and they're talking, and Todd, I mean, honestly, although some people might have viewed that scene as disrespectful towards Mama Joyce, I don't think so, because both of them are fed up with Mama Joyce's thing. Like, at the end of the day, she is Kandi's mom. She's not Todd's mom, and she's not Carmen's mom. And she's overstepping those boundaries where, like, you like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna respect my elders, but come on, like, how much you gonna come at me for me to be like, just to keep taking? So I don't disagree with Todd popping off or Carmen saying what she's saying, because at the end of the day, they're right. And then Kandi's talking about at the end of the day, like, her mom is all she got. Yeah, Kandi, she's all you got, because she pushes everybody else who gets too close away. Look, I'm sure she was upset that your fiance before Todd died. Anybody that she don't want a part of your life, she's gonna push them away. So of course, it's always gonna make it seem like she's all you got. Seek therapy, you should seek counseling, because like Carmen said, there are some deep-rooted issues there, and it may be stemming from that, you know, Kandis her only living child, but it could be some other stuff too. So the next thing is Kenya getting her makeup done, and it's the day of the event. I don't understand how it's the day of the event, you still haven't called Nene, you still haven't reached out on a personal level to Nene, but you're hoping she shows up, and then you and your auntie talking about she's petty. Kenya, yes, Nene is petty if she doesn't show up, and yes, she was petty for her attitude at the party, but you were just as petty for not speaking to her about an event that was supposed to have a little bit of her involvement because it was a part of the charities that she's affiliated with, and you called her up to speak at it. So yeah, you were just as petty as Nene. Talks about she's gonna throw this event and show Atlanta how good of a friend she is. No, you're not a good friend. You're a good pretending friend, but you're not a good friend. Nene shows up and she shades the shit out of Nene. I mean, out of Kenya, rightfully so. Even though like her attitude at the party was slightly over the top, considering it's supposed to be a certain type of event, but in the same token, like, you can't fully blame her. Kenya has to take part in it, but Kenya's trying to make it seem like it's just solely Nene's attitude. No, it's a two-way street. So I think both of them. So after Kenya calls Nene up to give that little speech, and Nene gives that little crappy speech, I do agree Nene was wrong for the speech, because if you was gonna get up there at all, you should have just, at that moment, you know, I'm not an advocate for people being phony, but at that moment you should have been a little phony because of the fact that this sheds light on your charity. This is not just a beef between Kenya. This is about a charity event that's supposed to be close to your heart. So you should have swallowed that pill and just dealt with it. But I don't disagree that her and Greg walked out. I don't disagree with that at all. And then Kenya had nervous about, oh, Nene and her flunkies. I guess she's talking about Cynthia and her friends. But you gotta remember, Kenya, not too long ago in this same season, you were one of Nene's flunkies. So don't be so quick to talk about flunkies. Then the next scene goes into Peter addressing the issue and having a problem with it, which I totally agree with Peter. But the thing is, everyone's like, Nene has a nurse say, this is women's business. But Peter was talking to Cynthia, his wife. Granted, he was talking loud enough for you to hear, but he was talking to Cynthia. You took it upon yourself to explain yourself, to come over there and then make it seem like you're not totally wrong in this situation. I don't disagree with anything Peter said. And for Peter even saying, it was hard for him because Peter and Nene is like BFFs to the point you would think Peter and Nene may be fucking. So for Peter to say it's wrong, you were wrong, Nene. For Peter to even point that out, you were wrong. But that's my review. I condensed it a lot, or tried to. So yeah, until next video.